Hey LeGrand Alive, this is Will Bowman and this is your weekly news roundup brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital and anythingtodigital.com. Crazy Days is upon us. If you don't know what Crazy Days is, well, you're a terrible person. Just kidding. In all seriousness, it's a day-long celebration here in LeGrand on Adams Avenue full of slick cars, soapbox derbies, vendors peddling, face painting, sprinkler spraying, plaque giving, and other small-town rambunctiousness that's put on by LeGrand Main Street every year. And it's coming up on Saturday. Last year, LeGrand Alive filmed the event, and this year we're streaming much of it on Facebook and on our homepage. The festivities will begin with breakfast at the Cove Fire Station. Pancakes, eggs, sausage, fruit, milk, the works. $5 for all of that. Concurrent with that, at 7 a.m. there is a fun run, which I, Will Bowman, will be running it. The race is put on by the LeGrand High School track and field cross-country teams, and earlier this week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Sean Crow, the assistant coach for the team, and chat with him about the race.
So basically what we need is a timing system. LeGrand's
for the cross-country team?
Yeah, for the cross-country team. We've never really had one. We've borrowed from Eastern, and even their timing system it's a bit dated, and we had some struggles with it last year. Ben has always been really helpful with us. He's always looking to help us, and so we're kind of at the point where like, okay, well, we don't want to always rely on them, as supportive as they are. We need our own timing system, especially because we're hosting districts. So That's kind of a big thing. We want to have a good timing system that's working and that we can continue to use and perhaps even use for additional fundraising for the cross-country team.
Registration for the race starts at 7 a.m. There will be a 5K and a 10K. The race will start on the short stop on Geckler and 12th. And what the rest of Crazy Days looks like is this: an antique car show on Adams Avenue from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., a soapbox car derby race at 2nd and Spring at 3:15 p.m. that we will also stream, and then finally the cars will drive off into the sunset during the Cruise for Cash at 7 p.m. that evening. We'll also stream that. So whether you're going to come run with me in the fun run through the fire department sprinklers on Adams, shop, or just drool over the cars, get out of the house this Saturday and do something. Seriously, this is small town Oregon. Get out and enjoy it. And for those of you who have attended in years past, please let us know about your favorite Crazy Days story or event in the comments section below. They're not going to kill the deer. Yay! Or, well, they're not going to kill the deer. This is a newscast, so I should probably be a little bit more objective. The Union City Council voted this last week after much deliberation not to hire an Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife hunter to come and exterminate a portion of the local deer population. So if you're not up to date on this story, here it is. Union, for the last several months, has been embroiled in deliberation about what to do about the local deer problem. So what's the problem? Well, some Union residents think that the many deer in the town are a nuisance. They are a danger to drivers, they've harmed pets, and have eaten up gardens. And the proposed means of dealing with these extra deer was to, well, kill some of them, or hire someone to do it, rather. But this week, the council responsible for the issue finally voted, 3-2 against the final verdict. There were many reasons cited for the negative vote, including that the lethal means were too severe, and that many Union residents think the deer are actually very cute and want to protect them. But whatever the case, the deer live to graze another day, and the Union residents are left to continue to contemplate the question, what do we do about the deer? A committee has been formed and will be required to give a proposal 2 months down the road. But what do you think, LeGrand Alive? What's another way of dealing with the deer, other than killing them, that is? What kind of plan could Union implement to minimize the deer problems? Respond in the comments section below. So, how many of you have ever been into the Eastern Oregon Fire Museum? Me either, but I've really wanted to for a really long time. The Fire Museum is actually a building on Jefferson and Elm Street in downtown LeGrand, and it was a small town museum that housed old-time fire equipment to be viewed by appointment by anyone interested. But not anymore. Apparently, 3 entrepreneurs are opening a Brewpub in the same space now occupied by the museum. But businesses, at least in this case, are like friends. Silver and gold, make new ones, but keep the old. Why compromise when you can have your beer and drink it in the museum too? The new Brewpub will include the museum, and you can drink your beer while walking around looking at the fire poles, plaques, and other elements of local firefighting history. They're even naming the Brewpub Side A Brewing, after the front side of the building that firefighters used to refer to as the Side A. This is very cool. For those of you who, like me, have always wanted to look inside the museum, rejoice. Not only will you be able to do so within the year, but you'll be able to do it with a nice stout, cider, or plate of food in your hands while you do it. So, what's going on this week in the Valley? Well, as I've already talked about, Crazy Days is this Friday and Saturday. Also this Saturday, LeGrand United Methodist Church is selling a bunch of refurbished stuff from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're also selling beverages and cinnamon rolls, which I hope are not also refurbished. Also, next Monday, I had to throw this in there, LeGrand ukulele players of all skill levels are invited to meet at La Fiesta Restaurant from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Next Tuesday, there will be a wine and paint night fundraiser at the local Harvest Eatery and Pub for Ginny's Heart with Art. And next Wednesday at 7 p.m., for all you rockers out there, Pigs in the Wing, a Pink Floyd tribute band, will play at Eastern Oregon University. Tickets are $15 and available to buy only online at brownpapertickets.com. In sports, Isaac Updike, an ex-EOU track and field racer, missed heading to Rio de Janeiro by just one race, finishing 12th last Friday on his final run to qualify for the Olympics. He ran the 3,000-meter steeplechase in 8:42.92, which is still a whole heck of a lot better than any of us could do. Good job, Isaac. Don't beat yourself up too much. You've raised the bar for LeGrand, and we're super proud of you, even though you didn't quite make it. Also, EOU men's soccer is gearing up for the season. The coach just released several more picks for this year's team. To see those picks and for more information, visit the EOU Sports site at www.eousports.com. In local sports, the 14U USA Explosion did pretty well at the Oregon ASA State Tournament in Beaverton last weekend. Game 1 they lost against the Northwest Bullets. The final score was 8-7. After that, they won 3, 9-1 against the Oregon Titans, 14-5 against the Rip City Riptide, and 9-0 against the Capital City Crush. They finally lost one more time, 5-4 to the Oregon City Nightmare, finishing the tournament 3-2 in the fourth bracket. In American Legion Baseball, the 16U LeGrand Legacy Ford Legends won 2 this weekend, beating Walla Walla 12-2 and Pendleton 6-0. And lastly, 12 golfers and 11 track and field athletes from Union County placed at the 2015 Special Olympics this weekend. For more information on these stories and plenty of others, please check out The Observer in the paper. Seriously, they have much more information on the stories and cover these stories very, very well, much better than we can do with the resources we have. And that's your weekly roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Grand Ronde Hospital and anythingdigital.com. Be sure to tune in later on this weekend on Friday and Saturday for our live coverage of Crazy Days, and also on into next week for another news roundup and more local content. I'm Will Bowman.